Hello and welcome to episode 10 midweek edition of my route to Bergen City Marathon 2026. Let me get home and I'll talk to you all about it because I feel like an absolute drowned rat. See you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. It's all dry now, yeah, and fully recovered from that great interval session there. But basically, first of all, what am I doing and what is this kind of channel about? Well, it's my training block to Bergen City Marathon 2026. We are literally, 24 days away, I think, 23 days. 25th of April it will be. So, yeah, the day before London Marathon and that. So, I've done this marathon a few times. I've also done London Marathon twice and that, but I'm using chatgpt this time as my training planner for this block. But it's heavily influenced by Lee Grantham's style of videos that he does on his YouTube and his style of training for his runs anyway. You can check everything out that he does. I mean, there's no hiding anything, basically. It's all the information I get is from the videos that he posts, and then ChatGPT kind of helped build on that to get the best replica I can of his philosophy in training, whilst fitting around my life and that. So I follow his general kind of structure and even do his strengthening conditioning work and that. Like I say, check out his YouTube channel. It's where I get all my information from, basically. And so I mean, we've had one recovery run or this week so far on the Monday. Just the usual kind of shakeout from the long run that I had on the Sunday. Just to see how the body's feeling and all that lot. And it was just 45 minutes, very low heart rate. I mean, I think it was speed 8.2 on the treadmill, 7 minute plus kilometers. And I did 6.15 kilometers just in general and that. But the average heart rate was 128. So it was really low. I'm really, keeping it low. And that's something I really learned from this marathon block, being accountable by ChatGPT, talking to me and setting the boundaries of the capped heart rates, that all my really recovery / easy runs were all too quick. What I thought was an easy long run wasn't an easy long run, and I could feel it at the end of the runs in those past blocks. And this block I'm feeling worked, but not dead at the end of the long intensity specific sessions. And that, I mean, if I felt dead after a recovery run, then it defeats the purpose. So recovery run just flushes it all out, just nice, simple, easy mileage. But again, like I said, I found out I've been doing those way too fast in the past. So that's something I've really taken from this block that I actually enjoy. I can only do these runs, like the really proper recovery runs, on the treadmill because I can't get that pace properly outside, especially in a hilly area. And we kind of found out about the hilly area whilst I did the Bergen City Marathon course last Sunday. So that puts some of the training into perspective on how I can try and keep controlled heart rate on such a difficult hilly terrain. But we got runs to kind of left to improve that and to see how I can adapt the best on that one. So it's created good data, that run. And that, so that was just, like I say, the easy recovery. Then I did about 35 minutes strengthening, which is, again, like I say, using a Lee Grantham glutes resistance band video. Follow that video. But I kind of only do the one set, really, but I'm maxing it out, doing 30 reps of the one thing. He normally does 3 times 30. That's his reps on this glute video. But I was easy. I throw in some weighted lunges with the dumbbells and that, and then raised leg calves, single raised leg calves with holding weight as well, and that. And then I do some kind of back extensions or back strengthening exercises, because it was about this time last year when I was doing the London block, I pulled my back, and that was actually doing a single deadlift, a single-legged deadlift with a resistance band, and I actually pulled my back and got myself the prolapse. So I don't want that again, and I have not done that exercise again. So that is one exercise that is off the table. I do not do that. Anything that scares me now, like that I could get a back twinge or something, I just cut that straight out. So I don't do those kind of exercises at all. And that, but I would like to kind of incorporate another strengthening session in, and that maybe kind of do a little bit more upper body. And that, I'm not looking to get guns or anything, but it's, if I can have that strength and power in my arms when I'm kind of going, and then I can hopefully keep my form longer and yada, 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 yeah? So maybe looking into something like that. And I will still obviously put some leg exercises in, just to give that kind of double edge part of the strengthening, I guess. So, but that would be on another recovery day, which would be a Friday, and that. So I'm not sure it all fits in with time and how much time I have as well, because a dad that runs, I have a family. They're not always with me because they're with their mum and that, but when I have them, I kind of have to balance where I'm doing the long runs plus having my kids. Now luckily they are old enough to kind of be left on their own for a bit when I can go out and do a 3-hour long run or something like that. So it's not like I'm abandoning my kids on a long run or nothing. But I still want to have the quality time with them and that. But I also think with this training cycle that I've got now, and using like the data driven with chatgpt, I'm not finishing these long runs dead. I'm not finishing these specific interval sessions dead. I've got energy afterwards still, because it's all about the Lee Grantham bit where you're stretching that rubber band, and to get that kind of extra kind of oomph in your workout. And for every time you stretch the rubber band, it gets easier, but you stretch it that bit more next time. So the goalposts are constantly moving, and that just by stretching that rubber band. But you don't want to pull it and it snaps, and that injuries or for chronic fatigue or anything like that. So that is what I like. I've been stretching that rubber band, but I haven't put it at breaking point, and I think that's where some of my sessions, last training blocks, that's where I failed, and that. So I now, like I say, I can do a 30k run with Pacific Marathon based effort in there, and not be dead for the rest of the day. And so I can have some quality time with the kids and all that lot, and have fun. So that is, that's what really has helped in this training block. I'm not doing the crazy mileage that I was last year as such. 64 kilometers last week. I think I might reach about 70 this week. But so I think in my peak week might only be 80. Only 80 kilometers a week. But last year I was hitting 80s around this time anyway, and possibly about now or next week I was in 110 I think it was, and I was kind of gunning to try and keep progressing on that up until the taper, but I got injured. Maybe that was why I was getting injured as well, because I wasn't so structured as I am now. This has really given me the structure, and I thank Lee Grantham for this, because I just love it. I love the way it is. It covers every single base: recovery, easy run, intervals, specific intervals, and that. another recovery, rest days, obviously. Then you get, easy runs again, and then you get your long run. So you're doing two specific quality workouts, and instead of having like three where you throw in a tempo run, that tempo run kind of goes in to your long run, because you're working at marathon pace and all that. Like, you're not doing the whole section and that, but you're doing different speeds, and I think that really has helped my training for this block. How I succeed at the marathon, I don't know, because I don't go by pace at the moment. So I can't tell you what pace I'm going for. I want under 4 hours. That would be a huge PB again. 12 minutes PB? If I can get under 4 hours, I'm hoping to get closer to 3:45. But will that be allowed on the Bergen City course? For me, I don't know at the moment. Maybe in another training block or another year. But we just want to get around this marathon as comfortable being uncomfortable, and not just without sounding wrong. You survive a marathon. It's all about at the end just digging in deep and crunch. But I don't want to feel disappointed at my effort. I want to be putting in as much as I can, coming out of that marathon going, do you know what? Really, that was more than I could imagine to achieve. Unfortunately, my mindset hasn't always been like that in the other marathons, and I've been disappointed and that. But it never stops me from challenging going back out again and that. So, it's a bit of a tough one, really. Like I said, I do these mental toughening exercises on the treadmill, before, like 2.5 hours on a treadmill. Mind-numbingly boring staring at a wall. But sometimes just on the actual day, then I can't get my head around where I need to be and get out of that disappointment. So this is what this training block is. And I had to get a really good time and to kind of get around the marathon going, do you know what? You've executed that. The best you've ever done. Now let's take that on to the next marathon. And then that's what we do. That is the progression. Every marathon is a progression. And so that I can't be disappointed with that. So I'm really happy that we're kind of pushing on to that. So, but yeah, interval session. Wow. I knew it was going to be a wet one, but boy, was that wet. Soaking. Rain, puddles. Just, yeah. So you can't say I don't like running in the rain. So I did an extended kind of warm up, getting out. Like just to kind of get, because I thought 6 times 5 was not going to give me the distance I really wanted, because I'm still looking at getting some distance, yeah, and that. So I kind of extended the warm up a little bit and went further, and I think that actually went out to, what is it, 4.26 kilometers, and and then I kind of started it and that. But for the whole run, it was 16.54 kilometers in a time of 1 hour 38 minutes 48 seconds. So 16.5k on an interval session. That's I quite like that. I'm very happy with how that all went. And that basically, the Lee Grantham style is, if you look at your heart rates normally on an interval chart, it's not until you get to the second or the third interval that you really gun in on where you should be, and then keeping that consistency. So it's almost like you're doing those 2 reps earlier for free, and you're not really giving you the bang for the buck. So what Lee Grantham does is he does 2 shorter reps to prime your system, to get your body going, wake up, we're doing something now. So that's what I did as well. So the actual session was 6 times 5 minutes. But also, ChatGPT put it down as a progression in the heart rates and that. But then like I said, I did 2 times half reps before that. So then that primes me up. So then the first proper rep is where I need to be, and all the stuff goes from there. So the 2 half reps were done at a maximum heart rate of 154 for me. I think my maximum heart rate on my Garmin is about 185 now. That's just with the way I've been training. I know my heart rate can go a hell of a lot higher than that. But that's the thing with how Garmin dictates all this stuff. And that, so that was my half reps. And then I did 2 reps, maximum heart rate 158. Another 2 reps, 164. And then the last 2, 170. So they was really pushing on, because remember the last video, the last midweek one, I'd undercooked it, apparently, because I followed what ChatGPT has said. And I've been questioning this. You're not pushing me enough on these intervals. Now, I can tell you, this was a workout on this interval session. But I didn't, I wasn't feeling dead. I could still do another 1 rep, at least one more. And like I said, it's all about that stretching that rubber band. And it was, the paces of them ranged from 5:21 per kilometre to 4:33 per kilometre. With the average was 4.59 per kilometre across the board. But what I've noticed is, as I went out and back, the first rep out is, I think, on a slight downhill. And it doesn't quite show it really on the gradient maps as such, but it was so much easier going downhill, or going down. Every single rep going out was quicker than the one coming back. Now you might say, oh yeah, but you're tired because it's only 1 minute recovery. But then you've got to remember that when I get back, I've still got 1 minute recovery before going out again at a higher pace or a higher heart rate, which did go quicker. And so there might be some, logical reason for it. But in my head, I went out quicker on the out runs than I was on every single back. And I don't really see it as being fresher, because I'm still doing a workload before, and then my recovery runs, I normally really drop the heart rate, but ChatGPT didn't want it to go less than 150. So it was like a continuous kind of work. And so I wouldn't say it was because I was, refreshing down easy or whatever to go for the next bit or what. So, like I say, the 7th rep was my quickest on 4 minutes 33 per kilometre. And obviously it's the higher heart rate, you're going to go quicker. As long as your system's always still in control. And that was another thing that I saw on this. The heart rate was kind of going up where it needed to be. There was no crazy spikes. There was no, it was like no real kind of struggles in this. It was a good quality workout, and I kind of did what ChatGPT said. First 2 get into it. Second 2 reps was, main reps were supposed to feel like you're working, and then the last 2 you're committed. So the last 2, don't get me wrong, I was focusing, 170 beats per minute, focus, just really kind of, breathing, rhythm, just go, and that. So really, really happy with that. And it was a well executed session. Long, I did another long kind of comeback, cool down session on the way back. Like I said, I ended up doing 16.5K on an interval session. But I loved it. It was how that should be, really, So really, really pleased with that session. Soaking wet. I wished I could have kind of got a bit of footage out there or something like that. It would have been quite nice. But yeah, I mean, it just wasn't the weather for that. I mean, I use my phone, and I don't really have it in a proper case when I'm running out, because it doesn't quite fit in the side pocket and that. Because yeah, so I actually had it in a plastic bag as well because I knew it was going to rain, or it was raining when I went. So I just wanted to protect it a little bit, because the last thing I want to do is lose my phone, because yeah, that gives me all the data I kind of need, really. So yeah, ChatGPT was happy. Now, I mean, we rest up on Thursday, and then we kind of get ready for the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all over Easter. Run. But just following that structure and all that lot, all of that stuff will be out on the next video. So yeah, a little bit of a insight of the week interval session and how the training's going and all that lot on this video. Hope you liked it. Like I said, I don't script it, so I kind of just talk and that. So I don't plan it as such. I know what I need to kind of talk about. You know, one run and then the interval session. The rest just comes up, and all that lot. So, you know, thanks very much. Please comment. You know, tell me what you like, what you don't like. Follow me on Instagram, Neil_dad that runs. I get all my basically all the actual daily workouts go up there. So that comes out there. So yeah, click like and subscribe to these videos, then you'll get a notification. Yeah, Neil, a dad that runs, has posted another video. Like I say, thanks very much. Enjoy your Easter. Next time a video will come out, or it'll either be Easter Day or Easter Monday, and that. Have fun, enjoy. You mean, if you're marathon training, take a bit of extra chocolate, enjoy that. You'll work it off. You know what I mean? Look at it as a naughty carb or something. I'm not a nutrition, so I don't know. Just enjoy yourselves. Yeah, that's what we're all doing it for. A bit of fun. So take care, and I'll catch you guys later.